Alright, it's up yins guys, time for another video. I'm going to read another chapter of this here book. And this chapter is called Snobbery. But I'm going to be talking in parentheses again as I read through this chapter, because there's a couple variations of snobbery and a type of egotism, which, like I repetitively said before in the other chapters I read, this has been, the author wrote, motorcycles in the background making noise. The author wrote this book before we had social media, and it would have been nice if the author or another author like him expanded upon it, or not plagiarize it, but for example, me or you, not plagiarize this, give credit where this credit is due, write a book and you can make references to this book. You know, for example, I wouldn't steal this guy's trademark and ideas, which in some things we believe spiritually, nothing is really yours. We do get it off of somebody or something else somewhere. What really is ours? But I wouldn't want to willfully plagiarize the author of this book and say all these ideas in here are mine. Which, if I were the type of person to do that, I wouldn't be reading the chapters of this book in front of you. But I do advocate writing a book like that of your own, and encourage making this quotes in here and quotes of other people as reference. But anyway, snobbery. I'll be talking in parentheses on this one too, variations of it. Yeah, sure beats just reading like a robot or whatever. But all right, let's go on with snobbery. Different variations of snob. Okay, my bookmark here. A snob is a person who attaches great importance to wealth, social position, status symbols, and contempt for those he or she considers his inferiors. He or she admires and seeks to associate with those who consider his superiors. And I might as well talk in parentheses right now. Snobs are usually regarded as rich, but they could be your bosses. They'll have SUVs. I always made comments in other videos that your co-workers, your bosses, or if you're in school, younger than me, in high school or college, you got snobs. You don't have a rich mommy or daddy. There's the people that are rich, and there's the would-be rich, and there's the wanna-be rich too. And then there's your co-workers, different people who just work in a warehouse next to you, or work at Subway next to you, work at Walmart next to you, or whatever, and get gold jewelry and fancy purses on credit, pretending to be that. Yeah, I'd say maybe you work next to them and they'll go somewhere else, you know, outside of your workplace or outside of your presence, and they'll pretend to be something they're not. Like, for example, you can be working at just some shit job which you'd like to get out of someday, and well, a lot of times people will even have a car beyond their means, where no harm in that. You want a car that doesn't fucking break down, but at the same time, you know, the news, the recalls on cars, you can't even fucking have that anymore. But people get a car beyond their means, get jewelry beyond their means, and beyond the means of their occupation. As opposed to other people who work shit jobs and live on credit, which it's better not to live on credit, just to have fucking shit that don't break down, and the cost of your rent going higher, you know, too, you know, there's two-way street to that too, you know what I mean? But you can be black or white, be acting that way towards the other race person as every race as the other race. You can be like that towards somebody that's a different race as you, or you could do that towards somebody that's the same race as you. And you got people doing this shit that they're not doing it against the person that's the opposite race. They're trying to imitate and exaggerate the other race, a particular stereotype, with the gold rings and gold chains, you know, imitate the other race to a point where they're exaggerating an exaggerated person. Like, I always said, what's worse, be an actual outright racist like Ku Klux Klan or Aryan racists? What's worse, being that, or actually what's worse, being that or imitating that other race and the stereotype to a point where it's exaggerated? You know what I mean? And being prejudiced against the race, is that worse? Or are you going to imitate a stereotype of that worse, like, say, gold chains? Oh, I'm a pimp, I'm a drug dealer. And at the same time, you're emulating and imitating the other race, some kind of criminal element, stereotype. I mean, is that just as racist as being, you know what I mean? But like, so many people do it to each other, to their own kind, and imitate it. I actually almost, okay, here's the thing, I accidentally said intimidate in a second. I'll also say that, yeah, imitate, since I accidentally said intimidate. You can imitate and pretend to be something. To intimidate and put down your other person, whether they're the same race as you, whether they're the other race, or whether you want to say better than the other race, or you want to intimidate somebody by acting like a stereotype of the other race, like imitating another group of people, whether they're your race or another race, like imitate the stereotype by exaggerating and buying gold chains and everything on credit, and everybody knows you just work a shit job or you're on and off. But anyway, yeah, that's what I'm saying. But going on and on, you know, I'll read the rest of the chapter, but there's different forms of snobbery and deception and game playing going on here. But anyway, by the time I lost my place to read the rest of it, but like I said, I'm also reading this, and there's more to it. That's why I'm saying what I'm saying. But anyway, I'm just trying to tell you different avenues that people go into the author didn't mention, that he would mention. And now people are using social media to do all that shit that I said, which there was no social media when the author wrote this book. But okay, after I lose my place here, a snob feels and acts smugly superior about particular tastes and interests. Like I said, you can be black or white doing it to your own kind, or you could be doing it to intimidate the other race, their own kind, or you could do it to not be racist, to actually imitate and exaggerate in an envious kind of a way. Like, you know, I can't stress that enough. What's more racist, being Aryan Nations racist or Ku Klux Klan racist, or imitating the other race to a point where it's exaggerated, pretending to be something you're not, and talking. But anyway, yeah. In other words, a snob sets up his own criteria that cannot be objectively evaluated. It is almost as bad as if he or she looked color black and said it was white. They're not talking race here on this one, like really, yeah, but he's creating an analogy that he's had to, but in the same manner, critics will attempt to shove down your throat abstract painting if it's representative of painting. Oh, ain't that the truth? Look at the Paul Joseph Watson on YouTube. Look up the videos, The Truth About Modern Art. The YouTuber Paul Joseph Watson. Not to get off the subject too much, but anyway, they're doing that now. They will tell you that it is artistic in movies, literature, scripture, sculpture, architecture. They will tell you that it is in and where it is in. Then there are social snobs. The wealth with new or old money. The jet is set commonly known as the beautiful people, and the academics, the bookish, the university group. Yeah, and the people in the bigger churches do it. Everybody's supposed to be humble in the eyes of God, but if you don't have the television overdressed religion, you could get one of the higher scaled, other than a bigger church. You've got a church that barely makes it. Then you got the in-between churches that are trying to be. Everybody, even in religion, that people are supposed to be equal in the eyes of God, will act like they're seeking high-class people. You know, like I said, my mother, you know, had this friend one time that she was divorced and was raising a kid on her own, and she was in church to try to land that high-paying, you know, pastor that has a bunch of money that's being paid by a bigger church, trying to land herself in one of those churches. They do it. There's the other church snobs. They act like they're not, but they do. They're looking at your car. Anyway, okay, I'm going on and on, but they all set themselves up as being better or superior than anyone else. They establish symbols and criteria which they exclude others. But you don't even have to look as far today, because snobbery is now common practice among the general public. An understatement. Now look at social media influencers, which yet selfies, you can be faking it. Some people are faking it until they make it. Some people are faking it and they're never going to make it, pretending to be something or not. They buy designer jeans, drink Perrier water, carry Louis Vuitton bags, and wear Gucci shoes. Oh, and I might as well pause this one more time if you got far in this video. A song by the band Pantera. I think it was the album Vulgar Display of Power. I never forget the lyrics of this. I just gotta tell you this if you got this far in this video. I got better friends to you. I got better friends like you. Be yourself, buy yourself, stay away from me. And let me say those lyrics again. You can't be something you're not. Be yourself, buy yourself, stay away from. That's what you should say. You should get that Pantera song, these people. Be yourself, which we should all be ourselves, not pretend to be something else. But in the lyrics of this song, you're telling one of these snobs and these fakes and these wannabes, the band Pantera was trying to project the thing, telling these people that they're already being themselves, not in the right way. Be yourself, buy yourself, stay away from me, stay the hell away from me. Be yourself, buy yourself. Or go with your other fake friends. Or be yourself, buy yourself, stay away from me. But yeah, I couldn't resist. I had to throw that in. Like I said, you wouldn't get readings anywhere else that I don't want to read like a damn robot. But alright. Okay, let me get back to where I lost my place again. But yeah, you don't have to look far today. The snobbery is now common practice. Designer jeans, whatever, all that Gucci shoes. And look what it is now on social media. Okay, in reality, snobs know they don't have the real goods, which is based on solid accomplishments and interior sense of self-esteem. They don't even have to be artificially reinforced by artificial people. Well, it's just like I said, you could buy a fake Rolex fake Rolex watch. Me and my girlfriend saw on the TV news, people were getting busted for selling and buying and selling fake Gucci bags, fake Rolex watches. And that's another thing too, on a separate thing. I won't yammer too much. I'm almost at the chapter. But I saw this on the TV news. A lot of people know the shit's fake when they buy it. They're trying to put it on their front. You get it real cheap, as long as they fool other people. And other people don't know it's fake, they're being deceived. But there's also the people who are trying to make some money and they're selling the stuff, which that work at home stuff, some of it they'll lie to you and scam you out of their money, but there's some, you can buy this stuff, it's counterfeit and it's coming out of countries. People are selling it at these markets, you got the big flea markets. And me and my girlfriend saw on the TV news, they're selling the shit and say people like you and me won't even realize it's wrong. We don't know really it's fake. You're buying it. You know how people can lie to you and take your money and work at home, and then there's some of these things where you go buy the stuff, right? And you're supposed to get rich or whatever. But when you buy the shit, they'll send you the shit, right? But if you don't sell the shit, you're stuck with it. If you don't try to, say you eventually give it up and try to at least break even and get your money back. Almost like what Henry Rollins said in his CD book, called Everything. The Mexican guy and his kids that were on the street selling the plastic racing cars. Henry Rollins said, I wonder who sold him those plastic racing cars. He's saying that he's going to make a lot of friends and get rich. And did they bother to tell the Mexican guy with the kids that if he didn't sell the garbage, he'd be stuck with it? You know what I mean? So there was Henry Rollins talking about the Mexican guy with kids that's new to the country, right? Got duped and taken advantage of, you know, and nobody told me if you sell the garbage you'd be stuck with it. But then there's a thing me and a girlfriend saw on the TV news. You can buy this shit and you're stuck with it if you don't sell it. You're stuck with it, and you can get busted. You know, the FBI and police are actually doing stings where they're looking for people selling the shit, and they're trying to trace the suppliers that are selling it, tracing it to the suppliers and the people that are selling the shit. Like they sold it to you and me bought it. You buy it, you resell it. If you don't resell it, you're stuck with it. But you buy it, you can get busted for it. Of course, the police are going to want to know where you got it, who you bought it from, and you're going to get in trouble. And there's a scenario where you or any of these people don't even know it's even wrong, and you don't realize, but look out for that. It's on the TV news, you know. But that's going a little on, you know. Some people are aware of it, some people are not. They use it as means to take advantage. People are selling the garbage and pretending to be something. And the people that buy the garbage, either they know it's fake and they're trying to be something. And that's a little extra shit to talk about, but yeah, and like I said, in reality, snobs know they don't have the real goods, which is based on solid accomplishments. Like I said, you could be working at McDonald's or Subway, and you're going to go around and have all this gold that on credit that you're going to be paying for the rest of your life, and say you fall in hard times and you end up hawking it, and you don't even get back what you paid for it. So what really is gold, the value of gold? It's a lie. If gold was really anything at all, why is it only worth the value that you get at a hawk shop? So there you go. Okay, that's a lesson learned. But yeah, anyway, the contempt snobs feel for inferiors is really a self-contempt that they project outwardly. They really are contemptuous of themselves because deep down, no matter how much they hide from it, they feel emptiness and alienation from the solid values and emotions that count the most. So anyway, these snobs ain't always rich like you say. Some of them are. The majority of the population of the snobs are pretending to be, or they're wannabes and they're putting on the act. If you're living in an apartment like the rest of us, what the hell are you trying to pretend to be, you know? But some people do it harmlessly to make themselves feel better. So they're trying. Some people don't realize that what they're acting is wrong. Some people it's harmless. They're trying. A few of them, they're not all bad people. They're trying to not to let on to their enemies that they're doing badly. But then, why put on the disguise? Your friends, along with your enemies, are going to discover it one way or another, and your friends and your enemies won't have any respect for you either way. So why put on the act? Just walk around with the fuck you attitude. It's way better. But anyway, that's coming down to the last chapter, the counter bowl. He's saying my version, his version of what I'd be saying, but I'm counter bowl. Ignore them. Do not play their game, because they hunger for our acknowledgement and attention. If they attend the in places and patronize another establishment, if they try to foist their taste on you for purely subjective or criticize you, do not argue. Simply say, I don't criticize your taste because I don't like it. Please give me the same courtesy or leave. And if it's a place that they're always at, go somewhere else. Say, I'm not going there with you. Snobbery has no place in my life. I believe in individual expression and tolerance. Should be, let the snob know immediately that you know that's their game and you're not impressed. In my version, I'm not impressed, mortified, or intimidated by this. Okay, that's the end of the chapter, but the one more thing that came to my mind before I leave this video too. When MTV used to play music, here's another song for you by a band called Living Color, which they did a song called Cult of Personality, but they did a song called The Glamour Boys, and it was a very sarcastic video, and you ought to look for that on YouTube. The Glamour Boys are always on the guest list, and the Glamour Boys are always on credit. The band Living Color actually was making fun of these snobs. The fake Glamour Boys, the band actually was you know, in the video it was showing people these putting on their mask, like a head, like fake smirk. But then the end of the video was like, what do you mean my credit's no good? And the video, if you find it on YouTube, it's funny as hell. So this also, what you want to check out, yeah, that band Living Color made that music video called The Glamour Boys, making fun of the stupid phony ass shit, you know what I mean? They were a really good band, you know what I mean? Just for making songs like this, and a good learning tool for all that bullshit. Alright, that's it.